Hello and welcome to the streams. Hello everyone. Hi. Welcome back to the streams. I'm Icarus, and today we have a very special dive. Today we will be going back into the Kingdom Hearts Chronicles in order to do Chain of Memories. So I've got my Keyblade ready, and I've got my necklace ready and on. Let me just set that to the side for just a moment. I'm ready to go. So, just for anyone who doesn't know, we've been doing something called the Kingdom Hearts Chronicles in the streams. I've been going through all of Kingdom Hearts, the entire series, in chronological order. Not in the order of release, in chronological order. So that means the timeline of the series itself, all the way through as far as we can, getting as much information as I can through it within the actual streams and within our dives. So we started with the phone game stuff, which is a deep lore. We went through Birth by Sleep. Then we went through Kingdom Hearts 1, and as well as Fragmentary Passage in there too. So today we will be continuing that. But before we dive into all of that, I need to make sure, and because there's been a lot we've covered, and so what I want to do, let me just check the streams real quick so I can make sure that everything is running correctly. I have to make sure about that. I don't exactly have a mod, so. Oh shoot, can everyone? Oh shoot, hold on. I forgot to change this over. Let's see what I did. Okay, change this over. All right, can everyone hear? Let's see what I did. Okay, it should change this over. All right, can everyone hear? Okay. Okay. All right, it should have done correctly. Okay, we should be okay. On my end, I didn't have it outputting out of the right one, so I couldn't hear, but everyone else should be able to hear. So we should be good. So we'll be going through the Kingdom Hearts Chronicles. Like I said, this is all of Kingdom Hearts in a chronological order. So before we start on that, I have updated our handy-dandy PowerPoint and worked very hard in order to make sure we get most of this story. Hi, Epsilon. Good to see you. Let me know if anything looks amiss or something. Just checking on audio and stuff. Make sure. Let me know if anything looks amiss, if there's any trouble. So we'll be going through Kingdom Hearts in chronological order. And in order to help with that, I have a PowerPoint that will help us see all of the story. So I'm going to show that with us. I'm going to go through as fast as I can, especially over the stuff we've already been through. But I do want to do this because it is important. Like, all of the stuff is going to start stacking on itself. We're going to start having things come together more. Chain of Memory is not as much, but it will still be important to know what came before it, because Chain of Memories itself takes place in a location that we actually have seen before. We'll go there in just a moment. So let me get the music going. Everyone should be able to hear that pretty well. And now, go ahead and do this. And let me know if everything looks okay. Doo-doo. All right. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Everything should be good. Okay, so let's do our recap dive into the old parts of Kingdom Hearts and go through all of the adventures we have so far. So the first stop is through Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. This is the phone games, as well as the back cover, which is the one with all the animal people that we played before. So, well, we watched a video before. So, the world of Kingdom Hearts begins in the very beginning within the world of light. Long time ago, in a galaxy, in a part of the streams far away, there was the world of light, as you can see, and the world of light held imagination of worlds, anything you could imagine. Halloween Town, Agrabah, all the wonderful fantasies one could have could exist on this expansive land. And the ruler of it, in the middle, was that little guy there with the little hood, the Master of Masters. He ruled from Daybreak Town, and he was the big boy who ruled over everything, kind of quirky, kind of weird, but that eccentric genius kind of type. So, why was he so good? Why was that such... the whole thing is the world of light. Yes, okay, so the world used to exist as one. the big W. Sorry, I should make that clear. When I talk about this world, I'm talking about big W world. The worlds, all fractured into pieces, as you see them in Kingdom Hearts 1 and stuff, as we saw, are the worlds within the big W world, the big world. Within the universe, I guess I could call it, the universe within the worlds. It used to all be like Pangea, like one big thing. The world existed as one. It was a world of light, there were no issues, everyone was happy. But the world existed on the other side, the big W world, of the dark world. This is where darkness lived. This is where, think Stranger Things, the upside down. It's kind of a parallel. And the part between was the like sleeping worlds, like the realm of sleep, and some of the like in between passages, stuff like that. So that's kind of how it was, like a double-decker sandwich, cream in between. You get the idea. So, but for the most part, World of Light didn't have any darkness issues. Master of Masters was the Master of Masters for a couple reasons. The first big reason was he had a book. And this book was called the Book of Prophecies. This is basically the screenplay. Nomura wrote everything down, supposedly, and handed it to him and like, here you go. Here's what's everything's going to happen throughout the series, because I totally knew it was going to happen the entire series. I don't know if I trust that man with that, but it's basically the Book of Prophecies of like, here's everything that's going to happen. He also had, I don't think I have it here yet. Okay, so he also had a Keyblade. Sorry, I should have put it on here. A Keyblade's the oldest Keyblade, where he took his eye out and put it in the Keyblade. And the Keyblade sees whatever he sees. It's a very powerful old Keyblade. He read the Book of Prophecies, and he was talking with darkness. Now, this darkness here is the embodiment of evil, basically. And I had some, I won't name who it is, because I think that that's like, you know, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to, but I've had some people, someone specifically comment on my earlier videos on YouTube. You can find all my videos at Icarus for Team YouTube. You can find all of these playthroughs earlier on. And he was talking about how darkness was an embodiment of the evil itself who came from the dark realm. But darkness started to lose its form. Whenever darkness loses its form, it loses its sense of consciousness. So the Heartless that we saw in Kingdom Hearts 1 is actually this darkness here, this guy, the core one, broken up into a whole bunch of pieces and lost its, and gone more feral in instinct. I didn't really know how that worked 100%, but that's what happened. Alright, sorry. The point is, this is the World of Light, Master of Masters talking to Darkness, okay? Darkness and him conversed a couple times, and Darkness is like the evil thing. And he knew, because of the Book of Prophecies, Darkness was going to be a problem one day. So he started to put in steps in place to take care of it. And they're best frenemies. They totally get along all the time. So, World of Light started to have darkness come into it. How? Why? It just started happening. What really occurred was that there was rumors of darkness, but there was little bits of like the darklings, like the little pieces of darkness coming through, and all the people were like, holy crap, darkness. So what happened was Keyblade wielders started to come forward. Keyblades just started to pop into people's hands, people with strong amounts of light in their hearts, and they went, cool, okay, let's fight the darkness. So they were given Chirithy with these little things here to defeat this, the darkness, collect this, the little light specks that would come out, and save the day, and totally not fight each other, because this is a friendly thing together. Let's not get into a competition or start to turn bitterness. Let's be kind to each other, because we're fighting against darkness. Surely this won't go bad. It started to go bad. So, the Master of Masters had these people. You see all these animals here? All these animals? There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5, like, apprentices to the Master of Masters. They all had Keyblades. They were all strong. And he put them in charge of a bunch of different factions. And you could, in the Kingdom Hearts universe, you could choose a faction and be a part of it, and yippee, let's go. Let's fight against the darkness and do that. That was the phone game. Now, these factions were supposed to work together. However, the Master of Masters, in all of his wisdom and quirky oddness, gave them all secret roles in order to actually start to dislike each other. So they started to feel bitter against themselves and started to build up darkness within their hearts against each other. Self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing. During all of this, the Master of Masters left. He bailed. He went somewhere and he said, I'm going to leave you guys in charge. Each of you has a secret role. Good luck. And he bailed. So they all started to fight each other. except for one, the fox one. You see the fox one down there? She was given a role to collect dandelions, which is basically the most pure and kind-hearted individuals she could, who were Keyblade wielders, and gather them together. Because the Master of Masters knew, because of the prophecy book, hey, there's going to be a war that's going to happen, which we're going to cause ourselves, because, yay, self-fulfilling prophecy. So because of that, I need you to collect all of the remnant who are going to live on, and darkness is going to overcome and break things apart, but you're going to send these people forward into the future to be the salvation, the hope for later. Good. Then, before he left, he also gave two things. He gave the his Keyblade, which has his eye in it, so he can see everything, as well as a box, which no one knows what's in it, we still don't, in order to give to his other apprentice who's not on here, who looks like him, he has the black cloak, Lushu, and said, hey, use this Keyblade, watch everything that happens, keep this box, never open it, which means you will at some point, never open it, and whenever you find someone who you think can beat the darkness, or someone who's like, yeah, this guy's strong, go on ahead and give my Keyblade to them. Cool? Okay, great. So, this part isn't super important. There was supposed to be one of the Dandelion people who was supposed to lead after the Remnant, and she got killed because darkness took over someone to kill her. So, darkness took over someone's body, killed this person, took that spot, and we'll see that in just a few minutes. And she's the best friend and sister of these two. You'll see, actually, that's actually kind of important. She's the best friend of that girl, you see, with the blonde hair, and that boy is her brother. So they're both going to be upset when she's gone. Sad face. So Keyblade War happens, and they all fought each other. All the little lines and the lights going up, and Kingdom Hearts is summoned, which is basically the heart of everything, you know, coming to envelop, you know, because it was all summoned because of all the fighting and the light being, you know, created from everyone. So Kingdom Hearts got summoned. Lushu, the guy in the cloak right there, he's just chilling. He's holding the Keyblade. All right, you see this, Master? Yeah, this sucks. All right, well, this is my job. And he bails. Bye. And everyone else gets sucked up. But, and because of the, you know, Kingdom Hearts being summoned and the darkness coming into the world of light, the big W world, the worlds broke apart. Congratulations, you know what the worlds are in Kingdom Hearts 1 and everything. This is why they're all broken up. They're all broke up into little sections away from each other. Lights were, like, some of the people were survived, you know, the Disney people and everything, on their little worlds, totally separated from each other now, and they grew up like that. No one has any memory of everyone. Worlds are broken. Everyone happy? Thanks. Good job, guys. Way to break everything apart. So, that's that. Everything's broken up. Everything's terrible. But the Remnant did survive. So, we have these guys here. These are the leaders that were chosen by the Fox Lady in order to be the Dandelion's new leaders, in order to lead them to the future. We have Skald, Ephemere, who is kind of leader person, Brain, best man, Brain's the best, Ventus, and he's important for later, keep that in mind, and Laurium. Laurium is the brother to the sister who was supposed to be there, but got killed by an imposter. So, new Union leaders are in a digital space. There was a space created for them, kind of like Matrix, think the Matrix, where all of them were put in, and it's like, we're going to stay safe here until we're ready to send everyone to the future and keep everyone safe. We have their data, they're here, we're safe, we're in this little pocket, darkness can't get to us, we're fine, totally fine, but we're not. We'll see that in a second. However, darkness has infested one of these individuals. They possessed one in order to take the place of the girl who got killed, we all talked about that, and in order to hitch a ride into the data space, so that your little pocket safe space is now not safe. This sucks. So, cue us Among Us jokes on that one. So, we live in the datascape, in the big W world of the datascape. It's not real, but, you know, it's as if it was. And the same thing happens again. Darkness infests, everyone gets Keyblades. Memories of everyone gets Keyblades. They collect the light. Yay, let's do this all over again. Nothing's wrong. It's kind of like a dream sequence. But in a fake world. And no war this time, because the big, apprentices aren't there. There's no world. There's no war. So, yay, let's just collect light and be happy with each other. Hooray. Until the main leaders can figure out how to get us out of here. However, during all of this, glitches started to appear. The program started to go haywire because darkness is starting to infest it because nothing's sacred. So, world's still doomed, still in trouble. So you, the player, go through with Ephemir, the leader, to try to figure out what's going on. A bunch of stuff happens, and it turns out that Ventus, the kid there, the one that has the like blondish hair, the boy, he had darkness in him. He was the imposter. It took him over his weak heart. He killed the girl because darkness was, possessing him. But through everyone working together, they banished that part of the darkness away. And so, but the world's still falling apart. Like the datascape's still falling apart. Everyone's hearts are going to be lost to the in-between because the dark world is starting to take over. Remember the sandwich? The dark world's starting to take over. And so everyone's kind of going to get lost in that in-between space, the cream filling. So they have these pods that were created by the Master, which could shoot people into the future. But if you get shot in the future, you won't remember anything when you get shot there, probably, because it's time travel is finicky and terrible concept, in my opinion, if it's not the core series, but whatever. So they only have a few pods left because one of them was used by Maleficent. Don't worry about that too much. She got used one. That's one of the reasons she knows about stuff. Don't worry about that. I'm not going in that. Point is, they have pods left. And so they're like, okay, the people who are left shoot to the future. So they, one by one, these dandelions shoot off. Pum, 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 and pum. Brain stays behind because he's the boss and he's like, I'll go down with the ship. But Luciu, remember Luciu, the guy with the cloak, approached him as like, hey, you want to be safe? I think I can keep you safe. He's like, all right, sure. And so they disappear. What happens with them? It's a little unsure, but he goes to the future in some way. We'll get to that at some point if it comes up. All right, so all the worlds are still in dark because all broken up from each other. All the other Keyblade wielders who were there in the datascape just go into the dream world. Everyone goes into the dream world, stays there, super safe. They're little Chirithes. Remember the little animal things, the cats? Turn into dream eaters, which keep them safe. They're like the little guardians and hold their hearts together until someone can free them. So there you go. Many years pass, and we meet. Then we go to King Union Dark Road. This is the story of the beginning of a very, 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 very important man who you are going to hear a lot about soon. This is the beginning of a man called Xehanort. Welcome to Xehanort. He's important for the overall story. We'll be seeing a lot of him. A guy who set all this emotion after the Master of Masters, of course. This dude is very important, and that motto down there, that piece of dialogue, sums him up pretty well. This world is just too small. He's basically like, he lived on a place called Destiny Islands, and he's kind of the reincarnation of the player from the other thing we just went through, but I'm not going to go into that. Point is, he has memories of the old lore, the old lore. So he knows, like, something's different here. There's more out there. Because right now, the worlds are separated. No one knows about the worlds being separated. You just live in your own world. But he's like, no, this place is too small. There's more out there. So he's visited by a brown-cloaked man. Wonder if we're going to see him again. And the brown-cloaked man's like, hey, you want to go see other worlds? Use this darkness corridor. I misspelled darkness there, whatever. Use this darkness corridor and go express style. Fast pass. Let's go, buddy. And so he's like, you know what? I'm not scared of anything. I jump right through. So he ends up in a place called Kada El Skalem. Don't worry about the name. The point is it's another world. And he gets there and he's like, this is a new world. That's pretty cool. And he meets Ericus. And the two of them becomes best friends who never, ever, ever gonna fight ever. You see how this stuff ends up. So they become best friends. They're like, hey, you're probably from another world. That's pretty cool. Hey, how about you hang out with us? So he's like, okay, cool. I want to learn about other worlds. So he goes and studies the way of the Keyblade with a bunch of other people there and their master. Whoopee! While he's there, he plays chess with Ericus, and they do stuff together, and they question about the Keyblade War, which is a legend at this point. And they're like, wow, that's pretty crazy. And they talk about some of the Book of Prophecies, because some of the Book of Prophecies passages have been, basically are like old tales now. And they're like, oh man, light's going to expire one day. That's crazy. Ericus is like, no, it's not. Light's going to be great. And they're saying, it's like, I don't know, dark's pretty strong. So while they're there, they also they basically start to train as Keyblade wielders, and the upperclassmen are sent to go and find out what's happening in the world because there's more darkness starting to happen. The worlds exist in their little specks of light, but there's darkness between the worlds. You can't travel between the worlds unless you use darkness itself, like you're a bad guy, basically. Or if you use a special ship or something. You have to have a special way of doing it. So all of the upperclassmen go, and then they don't come back, and so their teacher's like, oh boy, you guys better go check out the upperclassmen. I know you're not ready, but go ahead. And so, yeah, it doesn't go well. Other students, maybe teach as well, is all dead. Like, basically, because the darkness happened between the worlds, they all tried to go and see what happened. Everyone died except for Ericus and Xehanort. What the crap? Why do you love tragedy so much, frickin' Nomura? Why do you like this? So, because everyone else is gone, Ericus, the other boy, the light boy down there, the sad-looking one, not Xehanort, was bequeathed like the, hey, you're going to be the master going forward, teach this to Keyblade wielders in the future, because my god, there's almost none of them left. Find Keyblade wielders, people with strong hearts who can, teach them the ways of the Keyblade wielder, you'll be the person, you know, like the legacy continuer. There's a word for it, I don't remember. And Xehanort's like, you know what? I'm going to go and study darkness and find a way to beat it because I'm tired of this crap. I'm tired of not knowing enough and blah, blah, blah. So he goes and does that. So many, many more years later. And then we get into Birth by Sleep. So this is one of the first, actual outside of the phone games, because everything before that was a phone game. This is one of the first console games. Well, okay, it released on PSP. It should have been console. This might as well be, for anyone who doesn't know, Birth by Sleep might as well be called Kingdom Hearts Zero. If you're one of those people who's like, oh, I only played the numbered games, consider this Kingdom Hearts Zero, play it. It is so important. Please. They did a disservice to themselves by not naming it that. But this is Birth by Sleep. This takes place 10 years before Kingdom Hearts 1. For anyone who wants to know, anyone who played Kingdom Hearts 1 and knows the original story. This takes 10 years before. So, we meet Master Xehanort. He is the old man right there. You see the old man? That's Xehanort. That is that kid. The kid with the silver hair. That is the old man right there. That's the old man. He's old now. He's been studying darkness. He's been dabbling in it too much. And now he thinks he can overcome it by accessing Kingdom Hearts. Because, rawr, I am evil now. You know, kind of thing. So he finds Ventus. You remember Ventus? You see that kid over there? That is Ventus from the old lore. He was a Keyblade wielder from way back before the worlds exploded from each other. But he doesn't remember anything, because remember what I said, when you shoot to the future for those pods, you sometimes lose your memory. So he lost his memory. But Xehanort found him and realized, hey, you got Keyblade wielding abilities. All right, I see that. You're from a different time. Okay, I understand. All right, let's go on ahead and train you. So what Xehanort wants to do is he wants to create this. That is called the Keyblade. The Keyblade is a special Keyblade that is created whenever pure light and pure darkness smash against each other and it makes it. It has access to that. Kingdom Hearts. Remember the big heart that showed up at the end of the Keyblade War? That's basically the center of all creation. It's the big heart. If you have it, you have control over everything, basically, or something like that. We don't even, honestly, even to this point, know exactly what it is, but it's something like that. So, that's the big heart. He wants it. It's like, all right, this instant power, if I have that, I can defeat darkness. I won't ever have to, deal with it. So he's like, all right, okay, Ventus, we're going to take your light and we're going to make you more powerful in darkness as well, so the two can clash in you and we'll be good to go. All right, so you're going to fight these things. These are heartless. They suck. They're pieces. Remember the darkness? Remember the darkness was a single entity. We got broken up. These are the parts of that entity. Hello, welcome to Heartless. They like to steal your hearts and they're evil. All right, so you're going to fight them. And Ventus is like, no, I don't want to. I'm too weak. And because Xehanort's like, unleash your darkness and you will beat them. Just go rage mode and you'll be fine. He's like, I don't want to. So he's like, all right, you know what? Fine. This isn't working. So what I'm gonna do, because I'm a crazy amazing Keyblade wielder, is I am going to split you in two. I'm going to take all of your darkness and I'm going to sever it from you, which normally should not be possible. But in the old lore, Ventus had been taken over by darkness, remember? And it had been extracted from him, been exorcised from him. So he was pure light for a little bit. Usually everyone has some light and some darkness in them. Duality of man, all that kind of stuff. We are beings of flesh, sin, all that stuff. But Ventus kind of had it not happen for him for a while, so it could be done for him. So he's like, all right, I'm going to split you up. So So he splits them up, which knocks Ventus out, and he creates Ventus. That's the guy right there. You see the weird looking, like evil looking, like terrible, vain, dark suit, like Batman's future villain? That's him. That's Ventus. He's made from Ventus, and he's like, I'm pure evil. I'm negative energy. And he can summon these things. They're called Unversed. They're negative energy. I don't know why they were used. Why not just have him control Heartless? I don't know. No more likes creating concepts and concepts. Point is, he can create these little Unversed things, which are bad, and they attack people. And Ventus is knocked out. Also, and I forgot to mention this. Xehanort, you see big bald man? Leonard Nimoy voiced him. He has the Master's Keyblade. Remember the Keyblade with the eye in it? He has that. It was gifted to him because he met with the Masters once or something like that. He got it somehow. It was now a part of him. We're a little unclear on exactly how he got it, but he has it. So that's why he also has a really, really powerful Keyblade. So, Xehanort goes, okay, you're useless to me, Ventus. I'm going to take you back to my home. And I'm going to just let you die there. Because, yeah. So I take you back to Destiny Islands. You're going to perish here, and that's sad. But, you know, you had some of my research go, so okay. But as Ventus's heart is fractured, because Darkness was just distracted from it in a way that shouldn't be done, so he's now like, even with his heart fractured, he reached out to a pure warm light that he found. And that warm light was a newborn that was just birthed into the world, pure light heart, a warm and kind one. And Ventus reached out in his heart to this and said, please help. And the warm light accepted the communion between the two of them and healed Ventus's heart by communing together. And this warm light, spoilers, it's Sora. You know, Sora, that warm light, even that young, even as like a newborn, even as a super young kid, he's still being kind-hearted and awesome. I love you, Sora. So he saves him by reconstituting his heart and by putting it back together. And yay, Ventus is okay. Xehanort's, but he lost his memories again. A lot of amnesia in this. It's a, you know how these stories go. But basically, because he got fractured so bad, he's like, and Xehanort's like, oh, you're alive. Oh, shoot. Wow. Well, right now, you're being a pure light. That's not supposed to happen. If you were to clash with Ventus, the evil-looking Batman guy again, Batman villain again, maybe we could still make the Keyblade. You know what? I'm going to entrust you to my friend, Ericus. Remember his best friend? He's training Keyblade wielders. He'll train you too. So he goes and doesn't obviously say what actually happened. He just, I found this boy. He was really hurt. Oh, geez, you better take care of him, Ericus. You got to school. And Ericus is like, sure, I'll take care of him. So he goes and works under Ericus and meets two new friends. And the three of them become best friends. A trio throughout tough through time. And they are Ventus, the young, naive, but kind boy. Terra, the loyal, but brooding and struggling with darkness himself. And the reliable, competent, beautiful, gorgeous, kind-hearted best mom, Aqua. I love her. She's wonderful, and you will find out why as we keep going. She's best girl. She's amazing, and I love her so much. Aqua, best girl. So, but the three of them become great friends. They train together to be the Keyblade masters, to become masters of the Keyblade, to train up, to be able to help the world, to fight against darkness, and to keep order, all that kind of stuff. Think Jedi. It's kind of Jedi-ish. And honestly, Kingdom Hearts is a lot of Star Wars parallels, which I'm surprised they don't have a world in there yet. They will. Okay, so the three of them train together, and eventually the Mark of Mastery exam happens, which is basically the exam you take to become a Keyblade wielder. So, the exam is held by Ericus. You see the guy with the goatee down there? He holds the exam, used to be besties with Xehanort, so he invites Xehanort in. Hey, I know we had our differences in the past. I know you practically hurt me and caused a scar on my eye before, but hey, we're friends. Why don't you come back and see how Ventus is doing? You dropped him off with me. Let me show you my other two, Aqua and Terra. They're going to maybe become Keyblade Masters. They're both going to take the test. And then Xehanort's like, yes, this will be good. I was needing a new body. I mean, I love to see your students. So, the exam starts, and he's totally not evil. He's totally not planning anything at this point. So the exam happens. During the exam, the Aqua and Terra fight each other, and during that, unfortunately, Aqua passes with grace, as is expected, but Terra fails. Though maybe that was orchestrated because Xehanort, Mr. Baldy, threw in some darkness into the exam, which procced the darkness in Terra that kind of came out a little bit. And Ericus is like, no, we can't have darkness here. I hate darkness. You can't do that. You go in the corner and you think about what you did showing darkness, Terra. That's bad. So he failed, unfortunately. So everyone's kind of sad about that. Oh, speaking of Star Wars, Epsilon, Ericus is voiced by Mark Hamill. Well, there you go. He is the old Jedi. He honestly is the old Jedi here. He's the last one. He really is. He really is the last one bequeathing the Keyblades to these guys. Because these guys you see here, besides a few others, are basically the only Keyblade wielders left at this point in the story, in like the Kingdom Hearts lore. There may be a few weird ones here and there, but it's like there's like none left. So this is basically it. So it kind of makes sense it's Mark Hamill, if anyone's seen Last Jedi kind of thing. All right, so speaking of Star Wars, oh my gosh, I forgot about this. Xehanort pulls Terra aside and pulls a Palpatine and goes, you know what? This darkness in you, no. You don't suppress it. You channel it. You make it part of you, but you do it right. Go through the worlds and see the worlds like I did, because it totally turned me out well, and they'll conquer the darkness inside you. You're going to be great, Master Terra. Yeah, freaking bunting around. So Terra goes, okay, I'm going to go do that, because I believe everything from you. So he goes off. Ventus shows up. I shouldn't have had him here on the whole screen the whole time, but remember Ventus, other part of Ventus, big bad, blood vein, Batman villain, shows up as like, hey, bet you won't sneak out. Your friend's gonna follow darkness. Nah, Terra's bad. That's why he failed. And so Ventus is like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna go save him. So Ventus goes off without permission. Hi, King Retro Gaming. Hey, we're just going over Kingdom Hearts Chronicles. I'm going over the story up to this point. We're in Birth by Sleep. Because we're going to be doing Chain of Memories, so I'm trying to do everything up to that point. So he goes off after Terra, and Ericus is like, oh shoot, my kids are misbehaving. Hey, best mom, I want you to go keep an eye on the other two, make sure they don't do anything stupid, bring them back home, because I need to ground them, because Terra has darkness and Ventus being mean. And Aqua's like, okay, sure, I guess so. So she goes. So then the three of them go throughout the worlds. They all start to like travel and look for each other and look to conquer the darkness in their heart, all that kind of stuff. And then during that, Xehanort shows up. He keeps giving bad advice to Terra. And as such, he also tells a person in their own world, a resident of their own world, about the other worlds, Keyblades, Princesses of Heart, all the stuff about that he knows, to Maleficent. And she starts to set some plans in motion that we see in Kingdom Hearts 1 that a lot of you probably know about. So she learns it from Master Xehanort. So he does that. He also puts bad ideas inside Terra, who's like, oh, darkness isn't bad. You just keep channeling that. You're going to be great. And Ventus shows up and pesters the two of them as well, creates doubt and divides within the friendship because, divided house cannot stand friendships and fellowships outside of it, fall. And this dude's named Bragg, and he works for Xehanort, so he also creates trouble. Just, throwing that out there, probably important for later. Just, he's a dude. So, as they travel through the worlds, Terra ends up on a very special place, Destiny Islands, where Xehanort was born and where we've been to before. Now, as he's here, he meets two boys, and this is important. He meets this one named Riku, and this bright sunshine smile called Sora. He meets these two young men, and he notices in Riku that he has the power and the strength of heart to become a Keyblade wielder. He's like, you got the gift. The force is strong with you. I'm just going to keep using Star Wars stuff because it works so well. Force is strong. So he's like, here, small child, touch my weird-looking sword. I'll give you special power. And Riku's like, okay, sure, whatever. Also, don't give in to the darkness and screw everything up like I totally won't do. Don't do that. Don't give in to darkness. And Riku's like, sure, whatever. Yeah, that's great. So Riku is given the bequeathing to become a Keyblade wielder. He's given the rights to do so. Now notice here. Let's play a game, kids. Who was given the rights to Keyblade wielder? Riku! The boy with the yellow shirt down there and silver hair. Who wasn't? Sora! The other kid who's just there to help Riku and be a good friend. He was not bequeathed the Keyblade wielding. That's important for later. Keep that in mind. Riku, the boy with the yellow shirt, is the one who has a Keyblade bequeathing, not Sora. Keep that in mind. Alright, so, as they're traveling, Aqua, best girl, best mom, ends up in another world, and she meets a little girl named Kairi. This girl, she notices, oh, you have pure light in you. You don't have any darkness. You're a special person. You're a princess of heart, of which there are 7. Most of them are Disney princesses. And they are beings that don't have any darkness in them, which is very rare, except for Ventus. Remember, we told the whole situation of pulling Ventus out. So it's like, oh, you don't have any darkness. You're going to be important one day. So she pulls a zappity boo, bobbity bip. I put a protection spell on you. Things go bad, yeet out of there. So she puts a protection spell on Kairi. So basically, if anything bad happens to Kairi's heart, her heart will seek out the brightest and closest light for shelter. Keep that in mind. That's important. So that powerful spell was put on her, and she's like, okay, pretty lady, I'll seek that out. And by the way, Mickey's there too. Oh, I'm here too. I'm also a Keyblade wielder and studying under Yensid. Remember the guy with the Fantasia? He was also a Keyblade wielder in the past. He's teaching Mickey. Yay, Mickey Mouse. Okay, so that happens. Unfortunately, bad stuff occurs as well. As he learns about the world and learns about who he is, Ventus figures out what he is, that he is a part of a whole that got separated, and him and Ventus, and if they clash again, there's going to be bad times. They're going to create the Keyblade, and things are going to fall apart. It's going to be terrible. So he knows, oh my gosh, I'm terrible, I'm pure light, and if I clash again, I'm going to make Keyblade, which is bad for Xehanort, things are terrible, oh no. And so Ericus, in a terrible bad jump of logic's like, well, gotta kill you now, Ventus, because if you fight with Ventus, or it's forced to, the Keyblade's going to be made, and everything's going to fall apart, so guess I gotta kill you. This is supposed to be the guy of pure light? Really? Though, once again, I can't say it because spoilers, but Star Wars parallels. Anyway, so, as he's about to enact justice, I guess, on Ventus, Terra shows up and is like, heck no you don't, and pushes Ventus away into like the streams of the worlds, basically like pushes them out and says, get out of here, I'm gonna take care of it. And so he fights, but he's not strong enough, so he utilizes darkness within him to become super freaking strong. It's like, I'm freaking done with you, master, you freaking kill my freaking friends, and beats them back. And foreshadow Star Wars so bad. I know, I'm trying not to do too much, but it's a good like parallel. And so Ericus is beaten back. He's like, oh man, well maybe I was wrong. Maybe we can understand each other. And nope, I was evil. Bye. God. And Xehanort shows up and finishes the job and kills the weakened Ericus. And Ericus freaking dies, and he eats out of there, and Ericus eats out of there. And Terra's like, Xehanort! And so mad. So worlds start to fall apart. This world starts to fall apart because Xehanort goes, and darkness! Woohoo! Bye! And so then, all 3 of them, it's face-off time. Terra, who had been duped by Xehanort, is now bursting with rage because Ericus had died. Aqua, who found out Ericus died, and is like, oh my gosh, no. What have you done, Terra? And Ventus is like, I'm pure light, and I'm going to clash with darkness, and it's going to be bad. This is bad. Maybe you guys should just kill me. But they're like, no, we're going to do this together. Epsilon. Almost feels like a Ryan Johnson play Kingdom Hearts series. Well, also, thank you, person outside, for doing the yard work at this point. Yay. Sorry, guys. So, all 3 of them are like, we're going to fight back against this. So, they all go to clash. Terra fights Xehanort and uses the darkness inside of him to beat Xehanort back, who's now an old, feeble man. But Xehanort sees the darkness in Terra and goes, good, yes, let it consume you. And goes, all right, you're ready. And takes his Keyblade, stabs himself to free his own heart, and shoots it into Terra. And because Terra's darkness is overtaking him, his heart goes in, he gains control of the darkness over Terra, and using that, Terra Nort is born. Oh! So anyone who watched Naruto, he pulled what Orochimaru wanted to do to Sasuke. Yeah, he did it. So he now has control over Terra's body and heart because I'm using the darkness to pull the strings that you built up inside yourself. Cool, thanks for the vessel, dummy. So he's lost. Meanwhile, we've got Aqua and Mickey, who joins them to help, battling against the pretty forgettable battle against Bragg in order to be like, I'm gonna buy time so that Ventus and Ventus can fight each other. So while they're fighting down there, Ventus and Ventus fight each other because there's no choice at this point. And the Keyblade starts to be formed, which is bad. As Ventus starts to take over Ventus's body and start to merge in a bad way, inside their hearts, they face off against each other. An incomplete Keyblade with Ventus, and Ventus fighting back with the best he can, but really not holding on too well. So the forces fight with a big S-Blade, and then, in order to solve the problem, because Ventus knows I can't beat him, and I can't let my heart be merged together to create the Keyblade. Xehanort's going to get it, and everything's going to go to heck. So, I'm going to make a sacrifice. I'm going to shatter the X-Blade and stop its creation. By doing so, I'm going to break my own heart, which has been broken before, again. So rupture that old scar. So Ventus beats against the Keyblade, it shatters, his heart shatters, and he freaking gets knocked out and goes into a terrible comatose state. Ventus also goes freaking flying out. It's like, no! And as his heart leaves his body and gets shattered away, it goes to seek out a place of shelter. Perhaps an old vacation home it had been at before. We'll be back to there in just a moment. But for now, Ventus is carried by Aqua back to their original home. His body is carried back, I should say, because his heart's not there anymore. Normally, when a person loses their heart, they become heartless. But because Ventus has no heart at this point, and because he's a being of pure light, his body just goes comatose. It's like a puppet. It's just sitting there. And so Aqua pulls it over and is like, okay, so I need to get your heart back. I need a place for you to stay. I need a place for you to be. Because she was made a master before Ericus died, RIP, she was given special knowledge, and one of the abilities she was given was the ability to mess with the land of departure, her home, that had fallen to darkness. That's why it's all nasty down here. See, all the colors are bad. So, in order to do that, she utilizes a special trick, being the amazing, beautiful savior of all of them as she is. And with a little bibbidi-bobbidi-boop, Keyblade swoop, Castle Oblivion is born. So this spot here is turned into this. Ta-da! Voided pocket space where anyone who enters memories gets screwed up. Perfect for your sleeping friend with no thump-thump. And Ventus is placed somewhere deep inside. Deep inside. Where? Only she knows. She's the only one with access to the room where he is. This place, Castle Oblivion, is going to be important in the dives that we will be going through. Please look at this slide. It is very important. Please look at this. Alright, you got it? Great. So it's in its own little pocket space. If you go in there, your memories can get messed up. Because it's a wandering labyrinth, so no one will find Ventus sleeping inside. Because if they get a hold of Ventus, it could be really bad. So, Aqua goes up to put Ventus away in his room, this sweet sleeping boy, and goes to save Terra, who she doesn't realize may not already be gone. So she goes back to Radiant Garden, and she finds Terra, though it's now Terra Xehanort because he's taken over. So he's like, ha 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 ha. So she fights to save her friend, now teetering control because he's fighting back inside as much as he can. But he's battling, Xehanort inside is battling for supremacy within the shared vessel. So there's a little bit of unsureness here. As they fight, Aqua beats him back, but Terra starts to gain control a little bit. And in order to make sure that Terra loses control for good, Xehanort pulls a cheat move again and stabs himself with his Keyblade again to lock out their hearts. Basically, seal them deep in and lock out control from both of them for a while. So he stabs, their hearts are lost. They're still inside, but they're lost within. And because they're lost, a dark portal starts to open to the dark world. Remember the dark world on the other side of the light? Remember that? The cookie? It's on the other side. A portal to there is opening. You usually can never go there. But because of the weird situation that's happening here, it gets open. It gets open and Terra starts to fall in. Because he's lost his heart and he's going to be falling in. If he falls in there, in the state he's in, there ain't no getting him back. He's freaking screwed. And Aqua knows this. So what do? Well, I think you understand how amazing she is at this point. So Aqua, making the greatest sacrifice, throws Terra's body, which Terra and Xehanort are fighting over, out of the way. And gives him his armor, because he falls in. She dives in, gives him her armor, which protects against darkness. The only thing she has that protects against darkness, besides just her heart. And throws it with her Keyblade out of the portal, which shuts. They end up outside, and Aqua, to sacrifice for her friend, falls into the dark world with no armor, no Keyblade, besides her master's, the Keyblade you see in her hand right there. That's her master's, Ericus, it's not hers. She can wield it, but it's not hers. And no way out. And she falls down there. Which she will be at for a while. I love you, Aqua. I'm so sorry for what you had to do. So, Terranort is found by this dude. His name is Ansem. He finds Terra Xehanort, who now has lost his memories, so he's like, I don't know who I am. I don't know. I think my name's Xehanort, because Xehanort has more of the control, but doesn't, fully have control, so it's kind of, And so Ansem's like, okay, you can stay with me. I'm the ruler of this world. I'm like a big researcher, so I'm going to keep you with me. We'll study the hearts together. Maybe we'll find out a way to find your memories. So he's like, okay. So he studies the heart. And Braig, remember the old bald Xehanort entrusted him and had him as a mercenary. He's there, and he knows who Terra Xehanort is. He knows that's the old man in the body, and they lost memories. So he's basically keeping an eye on him. He's like, okay, you have a plan. I know you have a plan, so I'm just going to watch you and keep you safe, and we'll see how things go. All right, cool. Because he wants to be a Keyblade wielder someday, but you're right. And they all are with all these people who totally won't be important later. Not really. And they're all researchers or guardians of the castle, Radiant Guardian's castle as well. They help to take care of it. Underneath Ansem's tutelage, Xehanort, or Terra Xehanort, the boy, goes, I want to study darkness because I think that has a lot of power in it. Because, gee, I wonder if I've ever done that before. And Ansem's like, no, you're not. Don't do that. And he's like, okay. So he does it anyway, and things didn't go well. Yeah, darkness got ripped open, and let's just say that world is... Meanwhile, way down in the dark, speaking of the dark, Aqua finds herself still alive, with her heart intact, but with darkness and these beings she's never seen before, because remember, they fought against them first, not Heartless, grabbing at her to try to get everything she has. But she fights to keep herself alive, and the long wandering begins. Oh, Aqua, I'm so sorry. So, what of Ventus's heart? Remember, Ventus's body's in Oblivion, Castle Ventus. But where's his heart? Where did it go? Well, sometimes in life, as the Lord teaches and by his word, as we know, we just may need a second chance. So Ventus's heart finds its way back to Sora and asks, can I stay here for a while? I'm hurt. And Sora, being the kind-hearted, wonderful, pure kid he is, goes, of course, come on in, and takes Ventus's heart inside of him. So deep down in Sora's heart is a fractured and harmed Ventus's heart, a Keyblade wielder within him. Keep that in mind. That is important. This is important. Okay. So, 10 years pass. 10 years. Remember, Aqua was in the Dark Realm the entire time. So, kudos to her. And we enter Kingdom Hearts 1, the game that probably everyone knows about. But if you don't, we'll go over the important parts right now. So this is what I added to the PowerPoint. I'm very proud of how it turned out. So let's go over this real quick. Then we can start. How's everyone doing? You keeping up? Everything good? Everything okay? It's just this game and a little bit more with Aqua and we're good, okay? All right, good. Let's keep going. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll answer as best I can. So, Destiny Islands, the place where Xehanort was born, and now people sometimes come to chill out. We meet 3 individuals, Riku, Kairi, and our sweet smiling boy Sora. So remember who these are. Riku was bequeathed the ability for the Keyblade by Terra. Remember, he has the rights to wield a Keyblade. He has the power in him to be able to do so. That's important. He has a very strong heart. Kairi, who is from Radiant Garden, another world. She's from that world. She got handed up here somehow, and she's best girl Aqua took care of her with a protection spell. She is a princess of light. Remember, she is pure light. She is kind. She's awesome, and she has protection on her. And then we have Sora, whose Ventus's heart is deep inside. But remember, even with Ventus's heart inside of him, he was never bequeathed the ability for a Keyblade. He just has Ventus chilling inside of him. That doesn't necessarily give him the right. Alright, so, a little protect, I know. Hey, I'm writing in internet ways so people can understand. And they live on this island, and they play together, and they all want to visit a new world, because they know it's out there, because Kairi came from another world, so there must be more. And while they're building away, Riku got attacked. Oh yeah, Riku got attacked for sure. Meanwhile, while they're planning to go to another world, in an enchanted land far, far away, we go to Disney Castle, where unfortunately, King Mickey has gone missing. Oh, he's not here anymore. He just left without telling anyone. But he left a mysterious letter. In the letter, he says that the worlds are starting to go out. Also, I see OT instead of 2. I'm sorry, I always do that. I'll fix it later. The worlds are starting to go out. They're starting to blink out one by one. Darkness is going to overtake worlds. But they need to find a key. In order to stop the darkness and to save the worlds. Because something bad is happening. Because the darkness usually... Sorry, I gotta set this thing back up. The darkness usually doesn't infest the worlds. The worlds are just, split up from each other, but they're protected. If anyone's seen our Tales of Vesperia playthrough, go watch it on Icarus Redeemed on YouTube. We're almost done. It's kind of like Bastion. The city's Bastion. It keeps the world safe. But the darkness is starting to infest and take over the worlds. I don't know what's going on, but King Mickey's like, oh, that's bad. Better go see what's going on. So he goes to solve the problem with that. And he asks Donald and Goofy to go, his bestest buds, to go look for a different key. There's another key, the one I just showed you, that they can use to stop the darkness. So they're like, gosh, I guess we better go. And Donald's like, oh god, here we go. So oh my gosh. So the 2 of them are like, all right, let's head on out. So they go to travel the worlds to look for this key. Now, back on Destiny Islands, one fateful night, everything came crashing down. Their world had started to be overtaken by darkness, just like the others that Mickey was talking about. Dark creatures started to appear and attack the world, and the world started to lose its heart, because every world also has a heart. Yeah, I know. Everything has a heart. Everything's alive. It's freaking Buddhism. Or whatever, Hinduism. Whatever the religion that believes everything's alive. Point is, sorry, didn't mean to put fun, just putting a parallel there. Anyway, point is, the worlds have a heart, and so the heart's getting attacked, and it's starting to be lost. And all 3 of these guys, of our friends, are caught in the middle of it. So, how do they handle it? Well, Destiny Islands are about to be lost. So, how do they handle it? Well, Riku, taking after his bequeathing non-master, like a freaking dunce, goes, oh, this darkness thing. Someone whispers to him, you can use this to travel worlds. You should go with this. And he's like, Sora comes up and is like, what are you doing? Come on. Why is all the dark stuff on you? He's like, the door gate's been open. Let's freaking go, Sora. And Sora's like, I'm not giving in the dark. This is dumb. And he's like, stop being a little baby. I'm gonna freaking give in. Bye. So he gives in to the darkness and warps out. Because... stupid. Gosh dang it, Riku. Kairi, Sora comes across, and she looks zombie-ish. She doesn't look too good. And Sora opens his arms to her and goes, Kairi, please come here. And Kairi comes to her, and disappears. And he's like, what the crap happened? So Sora's left all alone in the dark. All of the darkness is attacking him. He doesn't have anything left. With the darkness taking hold, Sora holds on to hope. Even with nothing left, with all of his friends gone, he holds on to hope. He doesn't give in like Riku does. And he holds on. And in that moment, ta-da! The Keyblade finds him. The one for the Realm of Light. The one that Mickey was saying for Donald and Goofy to go find. Because there are two of these, the special Keyblades. One for the Realm of Light, and another one, which is a palette swap, for the Realm of Darkness. We'll get there later. But this one, which is located on Destiny Island, finds Sora and goes to him. And is like, oh, okay. And with it, Sora fights off the darkness, but Destiny Island is still lost, and Sora gets sucked up into the Between of Worlds. But the Keyblade keeps him safe. And he ends up... Oh, in a different place. Cut. Hold on. Before we get to Sora, he gets sucked up. Meanwhile, Riku ends up in a different world. One that had been ravaged by darkness and now kind of stands near the world of dark. It's still in the light area. It's still on the one piece of the cookie, but it's starting to sink into the cream filling toward the other side, if you know what I mean. While he's there, he meets Darkness Express past Riku to Odd New World, and someone's there to meet him. Someone who goes, oh, you have light in you. You have like powerful heart. You have the abilities to wield Keyblade. I know about how this stuff works because an old man told me once. Let me talk with you, son. Come walk with me. Meanwhile, Sora ends up in a place called Traverse Town. This is a world that was born because other people started to lose their worlds. It was one that was manifested where people go whenever they lose their worlds. So he ended up there, and the Keyblade kept him safe, that in his strong heart. While he's there, he ends up in Traverse Town, and he meets the Disney best boys of Donald and Goofy, who find the key because he has it, and they put up a deal. They're like, okay, we need the key. Sorry, let me do this correct. Okay, we need the key, and you want to go find your friends. So if you come with us, we have a ship that can go to different worlds. Yeah, if you come with us, we can help you look for your friends. Right, Donald? Who cares? We just need the key, so he can come if he wants. And so Sora's like, okay, I'll come with you guys to find Kairi and Riku, and we'll see what we can do about this. So the three of them form a bond, an unbreakable one that will serve them well for many, many years to come. One for all for one. You been practicing Donald? I mean, no, not really, but did it get better? Because my God, that's awesome. So, with a bond strongly forged between them, all of them go forward into the different worlds. A merry band travel the worlds looking for the king and Sora's friends. Oh, thanks, Obsidian, I got better. Heck yeah. As they go, they run into Riku, and they realize, oh, Riku's okay. But Riku is acting a little bit, how do I put this? What's the internet term? Mean? And he starts to be like, oh, okay, Sora, I guess you found those new friends. Okay, well, you know what? I found the power that's even better. That stupid key you have. And I'm going to use to save Kairi because you don't care. I'm the edgelord of the game who doesn't give a crap. And Sora's like, what are you doing? Stop. So they go through all that. Hold on. Yeah. And they go through all the worlds. And they find out that the worlds, all the worlds you see here, are starting to get overtaken by darkness because a keyhole, each world has a keyhole, and the keyhole can let the darkness flow in if it's not closed. It can connect the worlds to the core world of Kingdom Hearts, where the darkness comes from. So Sora closes the keyholes as he goes through the worlds. That's the majority of the game. And they move forward with that. And they get stronger bond between him, Sora, Donald, and Goofy. So yay. Finally, they come to the place where a lot of the darkness is coming from. A place called Hollow Bastion. And this place, you might recognize it. It's where Riku ended up before. So this is where he ended up, and he met Maleficent. So this is enemy base territory. Pecco Mundo for anyone who's watched Bleach. So, we end up in Hollow Bastion. Here is where a majority of the story and the important points take place. So, stay with me if nothing else for this, because this is important. When they get here, Riku, they meet Beast, who is looking for Belle, because she's one of the 7 princesses who've been kidnapped, because Maleficent's looking for them to collect all 7 in order to open the door to darkness, like the big keyhole to just let all the darkness out. So he's here looking for Belle. He's really mad. He's really upset. And he's powerful as heck. He's awesome. As they move through, they meet Riku. And Riku taunts Sora and basically says, so you're the big Keyblade wielder, are you? Well, we've always been rivals, the two of us, but you've never been able to truly beat me, and that won't change here. So Riku holds out his hand, and the Keyblade from their home, the Keyblade of the World of Light, shoots over to Riku. And Sora is devastated, because he's like, but I'm the one who fought my way here with it. I was the wielder. And Riku's like, you were just a delivery boy. I'm the one who was supposed to have it. And in reality, he's right. Remember, way back when, Riku was the one bequeathed with the Keyblade. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go on ahead and do it because this is very important. I'm sure you all remember, but I'm going to do it. I don't care. This slide. Riku was the one bequeathed with the Keyblade, not Sora. He has no rights to wield one, except Ventus's heart is technically deep inside him, so he technically has the ability to. But Riku was the one who was bequeathed. When the worlds were lost at this point, Riku gave into the darkness. So the Keyblade couldn't go to him because he gave into the darkness. So he's like, it's like Kairi was gone as well. So it's looking for, okay, can't go to Riku. You, and went into Sora's hand because the call of Ventus's heart was deep inside, and it's like, oh, you're technically have some Keyblade light in you. Great, cool. I'm going to you. So Sora only got the Keyblade by accident. Well, I wouldn't say accident. I would say because of his amazing heart. Because remember, he only got it because he held on to the light instead of giving in like Riku did. And that will be important in just a few moments. So he takes the Keyblade and is like, well, this wasn't meant for you anyway. And Donald and Goofy, unfortunately, in a very, very sad moment, switch over to follow. Epsilon. So Sora shouldn't have had a Keyblade. No. There was no reason he should have had it. The only reason I'm going to have to keep picking this up, but this is good. This went to him is because Riku wasn't available because darkness, and he can't go over there, because Kairi wasn't available. So it's like, you. Yeah, great. You're good enough. He didn't have a heart that could become a Keyblade Master. It's not that, Epsilon. An individual with a strong enough heart can wield a Keyblade. It's kind of like the Force. It's kind of like Star Wars. Think Star Wars again. Anyone can wield the Force, which is what we learned in the later trilogy. But those who are bequeathed with the Force and who are, like, given the rights to it and the rite of passage have the rights to be able to, like, spark their abilities to utilize it, like, truly. Sora, anyone with a strong heart can technically have the ability to wield one, technically. But this Keyblade is a special one, and it needs to go to one who's been bequeathed with the rights to wield. Sora doesn't have those rights. He had a strong enough heart that the Keyblade's like, that's good enough. Yeah, okay. Because the darkness was overtaking the world, and that's where the Keyblade was. And it's like, I can't stay here. You're a strong light. Great, cool. And it probably felt the resonance of Ventus within Sora. So it's like, good enough. So it's just that Keyblade. It's mostly that Keyblade, yes. The fact that it's that Keyblade makes it especially special. Yes. We don't know if that can be done with other Keyblades. We do know that any Keyblade who tries to be wielded by someone who doesn't have the ability goes straight back to the wielder. And that's not just with theirs. in Birth by Sleep, you see others trying to wield like Terra, Ventus, and Aqua's Keyblades, and they shoot back to them. So there is a like ritual bequeathing there. It does matter. Now, how much it matters is a little more nebulous, but for sure, at this point right here, Riku has the rights that Sora does not, so it goes straight back to him when he calls. In fact, earlier on, when they're going through the worlds, Riku shows up and grabs the Keyblade from Sora and says, oh, this is a weird thing. And it doesn't jump out of his hands like it did with Squall, with the other people trying to pick it up. It stays in his hand, just sits there. And he tosses it back to Sora. A little foreshadowing there. And it's fine. It's because he has the rights to wield one. Sora does not. And because of that, it goes straight to him. And Sora doesn't have the rights to call it back. His heart was pure and good enough, with Ventus's heart inside of him, because he can technically wield a Keyblade because of Ventus, to be like, you're good enough to hold me, but this is not where I'm supposed to be. And the second Riku shows up and says, come back, it goes straight to him. And because Riku's the one with the Keyblade, Donald and Goofy, in a very sad scene, come on, Goofy, let's go. We need to follow that key. Well, I know the king said to follow the key, but... And they both walk away. Sora, sorry. And he's left with nothing left. No Keyblade, no friends, nothing. Except Beast, but Beast is awesome. So Beast goes forward and is hurt, and Sora has nothing left. It looks like it's the the belly of the beast part of the story. Everything sucks. It's terrible. But even after losing everything, even after nothing left, this is why I love Sora. Even with nothing left, and no X Factor, no special power, no nothing, Sora does not give up. And he says, you know what? I'm fighting for someone too. Come on, Beast. Let's find Belle, because you care about her, and I'm going to go find Kairi. So he takes his stick of power, a literal wooden toy sword, and charges off. And smacks Key Heartless and does basically nothing to them. So Beast, save me. But he goes forward in order to save Kairi. And that heart is going to be very important heading forward. And actually, this will kind of answer your question a little bit, Epsilon, because you are kind of right about the strong heart thing. Keep that in mind. That is important, actually. So, they make it to the inner sanctum, and Beast, being the hot-headed, temperamental, strong boy he is, gets duped and is shut out. Because, gosh dang it, Sora. Gosh dang it, Beast. Why are you like this? Hold on, I gotta clean up some poopy. I have my little Digivice here. Just for anyone who doesn't know. Make sure he's not hungry. Right, he's a little hungry. Alright, we're good. Okay, so Sora's left alone, Beast is gone. And Riku, now with a dark Batman outfit, once again, kind of like Ventus, anyone see any similarities there? Comes up and is like, ho ho ho, you dare approach me? That freaking meme. And so he's like, what the frick are you doing here? I gave you a silly little thing, and why are you here? You have no point here. The Keyblade is not yours. No one gives a crap. But Sora says, that's not true. My heart's weak, and I'm not the Keyblade wielder, but I can still do something. I still have my kind-heartedness. I still have my heart with me. And Kairi still needs help. So I'm going to keep trying. I'm here. I'm going to do my best. Being the awesome, pure-hearted, amazing character he is. And so in that moment, Donald and Goofy decide to make a decision. And they say, you know what? We're not really into the bad boy. We're going to go with Sora. And I love the lines that said, Riku questions like, you betray your king? And Goofy, who's the first one who goes to Sora, not on your life. But I wouldn't betray Sora either, because he's been one of my best buds, and we've done a lot together. Donald, can you tell the king I'm real sorry? Wait, Goofy! We'll tell him together! And he walks on over, well, you know, all for one and one for all. And so Sora has his friends back, not because he has any special power, but because of the bonds they share. And Riku's like, well, you still don't have the Keyblade, so you still are little putts. Like, you got a little duck and dog with you? What is he? But I don't care. I'm still the wielder of the Keyblade. I'm still batting. And Sora's like, I don't need the Keyblade. I realize that my heart's my power because of my friends and the things we put together. All of the things we've done and the kindness that I've learned from the people I've met, that's my power. And so, at this point, Sora's shining bright and standing on virtues which we know biblically are important and are God's word. And Riku's being a little egotistical little brat who has a strong heart and the right bequeathing, so he's holding the Keyblade. So, egotistical, arrogant, literally has an evil outfit now, literally wearing an evil outfit. A kind, humble mindset on the important things like friendship and being with one another. Keyblade looks at Riku, looks at Sora, looks at Riku, looks at Sora, and goes, you know what? Screw you. I'm gonna be back with this kid. And jumps right back into Sora's hand. And you may be thinking, wait, but I thought the Keyblade was supposed to be with Riku. It was. But because Sora showed, and he did have Ventus' heart inside him, remember he does technically have the rights to wield one, technically, but because Sora showed just such a pure heart and one that was in the right mindset, the Keyblade looks at Riku and goes, I don't care if you're the one bequeathed. You're not, no, screw you. This kid's been doing everything it's supposed to be doing. He's been wielding me well. He's been staying in the right virtues. And he technically has some technical ability to wield me. Screw you. Jumps over to Sora and back in. It's like when a couple finds out which person the puppy likes more. Oh, yeah. So it jumps right back to Sora. Because in that moment, Sora's heart was stronger and more pure in what mattered. Remember, Sora's not a being of pure light. He's not like Ventus or anything. Or a baby, yeah. So he's not being a pure light or anything. He's just a human. He's just a kid. But he held on to what was right. And because of his pure heart, he is able to wield the Keyblade. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I love Sora. Because every single, and you can track it, we're going to track it the entire time. Every single ability and special thing he has comes from not some X Factor, not some chosen one, not a legacy, or all of it comes from his efforts and his purity of heart, his kind heart for others, and his selflessness. Every single one, and I will show you as we go. You can mark that. But Keyblade goes back to Sora and goes, screw you, I don't care if you have the bequeathing. It means I should be with you, but technically he has the technical rights to hold me, so finger gesture I'm not going to do here, but you know what I mean. Screw you! And Riku's like, but me. And so they fight Riku off. And where Proverbs 10:9, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. The Keyblade found them out, and Riku got nothing left. And together, with the light in hand, they beat Riku back and ascend to find Kairi, just like Sora said he'd do before, Keyblade or not. And Beast joins them again because, yay! The Keyblade gives Riku a thumbs down. Yes, Epsilon, yes it does. So, Riku, like a little whiny baby, goes crying back, butthurt he lost, and goes, Oh, not even YouTube allows that, really? Oh, okay. What, a thumbs down? Oh, God, that's right. Oh, haha! Because they took away thumbs down from videos. I remember that. Fair enough. Good call. So Riku, having given the thumbs down for his amazing video he worked so hard on, he's so good at, runs back crying like a little baby back to the inner sanctum and cries and whines like, I was a strong one. I'm the one with the Keyblade. Why? I'm the one who had the bequeath. Why not me? And so the brown cloak, who we saw before, shows up and is like, hey, Riku, yeah, kid? You want some good darkness? You want some of that good stuff? He was only better than you for a moment. If you really harness the darkness, if you channel the darkness, you'll be even stronger. Gee, who else said that in the past to someone who had lost their way and was kind of like battling with darkness and being a little bit of a brooding boy? Did we see that before? Terra. Oh, well, anyway. Day in the video, you're welcome. I know I'm silly. I know. It's fine. So, Riku's like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm short-sighted and impulsive. I'll accept the darkness, and accepts all the darkness into his heart, and all of it overcomes him and overcomes and takes control. And in that moment, he gets possessed with a new and special Keyblade. Now, this Keyblade, I don't know that much about. We don't really talk a lot about it, but because of its abilities, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I think this is a theory. This is a theory. I don't normally theorize. I don't. But this could be a very, 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 very immature prototype for the Keyblade, because it does have the ability to unlock hearts, just like the Master's Keyblades, as well as the Keyblade itself. Actually, no, it would be a piece of the Master's Keyblade. I see why. Okay. It has abilities like the Master's Keyblade of being able to unlock hearts, and I know why, but I'm not going to say anything right now. Keep that in mind. So he gets possessed by this cloak of darkness, and it's like, yes, now I have real power. Now I'm going to be the best boy. I have my own Keyblade. So Sora, Donald, and Goofy walk their way up and confront Maleficent, the one who's taken all the princesses of heart from the world and is causing all the problems. So they beat Maleficent, and Riku shows up and is like, do you need some help? That freaking line delivery. And she's like, well, I can take them. And he's like, what if I gave you real darkness? And stabs her heart and unlocks her heart. And because of that, all the darkness flows into her. And she becomes Big Bad Dragon. And she lights the area up with flames and fights against Sora, Donald, and Goofy. But through all of them working together, as well as some Tinkerbell magic, freaking instant recovery, beats back the dragon and goes in order to save the world and save the Princesses of Hearts who were taken, as well as Kairi. So, now we get into a very, very important part. If you haven't been paying attention so far, please pay attention here. It's very, very, very important. So, we get up to this area. This is the space in Hall of Bastion where that, right there, you see that big heart? That's where the door to darkness is being opened. And the darkness is starting to flood out. But it's incomplete, because all of the 7 Princesses of Hearts are needed to open it. It must match with the darkness. And not all the 7 Princesses of Heart are here. Well, they're here, but they're not ready. So, Sora shows up with Donald and Goofy, who get sectioned off. That's why I have them off to the side there. They get barriered off because video games. And they're like, oh, Sora! And Sora's like, Kairi, what's wrong? Why won't you wake up? So, Riku shows up, now in his possessed body, and he introduces himself as Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. Haven't we heard that name before somewhere? It doesn't really feel like it fits here. Oh, well, whatever. He introduced himself as Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. And he tells Sora that the Princess of Heart, Kairi, who is a Princess of Heart, her heart is lost, and she's now in a comatose state. Remember how Ventus was when he lost his heart? Kairi's in the same situation. Because remember, they're beings of pure light, both of them, so they don't lose their bodies whenever they lose their hearts. So Sora's like, oh my gosh, how do we wake Kairi up? And who the heck are you? You're not Riku. But Kairi's heart had a protection spell put on her. So her heart found a place of refuge whenever it was lost. When their world, Destiny Island, was lost, and Kairi was there and overcome with the darkness, her heart sought off the closest light that it could find. It did the same thing the Keyblade did. It went to the closest light it could find thanks to the protection spell put on it by Beskar Aqua. And that person was Sora, who has just as before, who's housed a heart inside him before, is now doing it again with Kairi. So Ventus's heart is deep, deep inside Sora's. It cannot be awoken without special procedures. But Kairi's found itself on the surface of Sora. It's clinging on to Sora's heart. Its heart is inside Sora. And so he's got 2 hearts inside of him right now. Technically 3, but Ventus is way down there. Safe, but trapped inside. Kairi's heart cannot get out. And unless her heart returns to her body and she wakes up, the door to darkness, that big heart thing, cannot be completed. And darkness is just going to keep seeping out. So, Possessed Riku tries to force Kairi's heart out with Sora with his special Keyblade. He's like, and now, with my special Keyblade, I will free your heart, princess, and you will be able to finish the door. And Sora says, screw you, no! I'm keeping Kairi's heart, and I'm going to keep it safe. And he beats back in a really fun and really difficult boss battle, and some Seeker of Darkness who possesses Riku, and beats him back. So, Ansem Seeker of Darkness is beaten. Dawn and Goofy take a look at the gate, and they're like, we can't close this. Sora tries to close the gate, tries to close the key, but the keyhole's incomplete because all 7 Princesses of Heart need to be there. They're all technically here, but one of them's inside Sora. It can't come out, go into Kairi, and she used her power to open it. It's not working. So, all 7 Princesses of Heart need to be out, and unless they are, darkness is just going to keep flowing out, not at the worst pace, but at a pretty bad one, and the worlds are still going to get overrun. More people like Sora are going to lose their home, their friends, and many others. So, Kairi is still in a coma, and his heart's lost inside Sora. What do we do? How do we solve this situation? What do we do to get Kairi's heart out? So Sora, being the amazing, purely hearted, amazing kid that I love, God, I love him, without a second thought, with a heart of gold and a silly smile, takes the Keyblade that Riku had, that Hands of the Darkness had, the one that can unlock hearts, as it did with Maleficent, smiles to Donald and Goofy, and stabs himself with it without a second thought. The stab releases his heart and also releases Kairi's from within him, going back into her. But because Sora is not being a pure light, he's a normal guy, he loses his heart. With Ventus is still deep within him, that's important. Ventus's heart stays deep within Sora's. It's a different kind of situation, it stays deep within it. It doesn't get lost somewhere, it stays inside Sora's, it stays deep in there. Keep that in mind, very important, very important. But in order to free Kairi's, Sora stabs himself and is lost and fades into nothingness. He basically dies. And Kairi wakes up. Sad, big sad moment there. Big sad selfless moment. I remember when I first played this game and I saw that, I was like, ah! But very, very, very important for the future. Very important. Because remember, Sora lost his heart. He's a normal human who lost his heart. He's not a Princess of Light. He's not Ventus with pure light in him. He lost his heart like a normal person. So that has certain consequences depending on how things go. So, Kairi's back up. Donald and Goofy are there. They're like, Sora! Everyone's super sad. Kairi's up and at him. Sora gone. Donald and Goofy left to defend her from the true villain. Da-da-da-da! And some Seeker of Darkness comes in. Not possessing Riku's body now, but able to fully reconstitute himself as a powerful, heartless being. Very different from all the other Heartless we've seen. Truly real name, by the way. Just go with it. Ansem Seeker of Darkness. Wait, but isn't Ansem... Haven't we heard that name in a different... truly real name. Just go with it. Just go with it. He looks kind of familiar to someone. Just go with it. Someone else. Anyway, sorry. He goes forward and is like, yes, finally, princess, you will open the door for me. So go on ahead and open the door. But Riku, still being stubborn as always, holds on to himself and holds Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, there. He's like, his body and heart were lost together. He was possessed. So he doesn't become a heartless or anything. He just falls into the darkness and he holds, because he has a connection to the darkness, which Ansem Seeker of Darkness is using, to hold him there. It's like, go. I'll hold him as long as I can. Just go. And he's like, what the frick are you doing? Get out of the way, boy. And so they're like, okay, well, this sucks, but bye. So Ansem holds back and descends into the darkness to try to take care of Riku. Everyone leaves. And in the midst of the empty room, a tiny little Heartless comes up. But this one seems a little different, maybe. It sits upright, looks around, and it follows. It follows. I'm kidding, not this horror movie. but it walks forward to try to find the light that is calling to it. So, Donald and Goofy made all the way back to the main room with Kairi. However, little guy's still following. And Donald's like, get out of here! Get out! Leave! But unfortunately, they don't have time to deal with. As they're dealing with it, as they're dealing with the Heartless around them, Kairi notices something different about this one. She's like, wait a minute, you're not attacking, and I can feel something in you. Because remember, her pure light, Princess of Heart Light, she can tell something's there, something different. So, all the Heartless go to see Kairi and try to grab her, as well as trying to attack their own, the little one that was following. And Kairi says, this time, I'm going to protect this one. I'm going to protect you. And so she reaches out to protect in faith. Donald and Goofy are like, Kairi! And then, in a flash of light, Sora comes back where the Heartless once was. What had occurred was that Kairi's light brought our boy back. His heart was lost to darkness, so he became a Heartless just like everyone else. But because his own light and heart was pure, he was able to hold on to his consciousness just a little bit. And because Kairi's light was so strong, because she's a Princess of Light, he was able to find her, and she was able to bring him back. And so now, Sora exists as a being who got his heart back because of Kairi, which is very, very, very unique. Normally, when people lose their hearts, they have to be reconstituted by like their Heartless defeated and their hearts being brought back by the worlds and all that kind of stuff and some other situations with it. Sora was brought back directly from being a Heartless. That's basically unheard of. So that will also have important ramifications for later. Keep that in mind. But he's brought back. The Keyblade's still with him. You're good. Okay, we're good. All right, great. Ventus' heart is still deep inside. It's okay. It's fine. And more Heartless show up, so they're like, oh, we gotta tie the veil. And they all leave. Remember, they hadn't closed the keyhole yet, so they gotta make a trip back here. But first, they've gotta bail because there's just too much, and they gotta get Kairi somewhere safe. So, they make it back to Traverse Town, and Kairi and Sora make a promise. Kairi hands him her good luck charm, and tells him specifically, bring it back. And he says, don't worry, I will. So, Sora, with renewed vigor, leaves Kairi into the trusted hands of his friends back at Traverse Town and goes forward to shut that keyhole. So he goes forward with Donald and Goofy, as well as Beast. Beast is there too. I forgot to put him here. Beast is there too. And he closes the keyhole. And the keyhole is closed, and this plane is taken care of. But the darkness, because of all the damage to the worlds, because the worlds have been sinking into the in-between, because remember, there's a light world, there's a light, and the dark, and because the imbalance was starting to be made, it was starting to go encroach, there's a lot of darkness over in the side of the world, the end of the world, as it were, the big W world. And so it's time to finish this and close that off. So Sora, Donald, and Goofy, together, head to the end of the world. This space here is the place where the world, the big W, is starting to fall into the darkness because the darkness is starting to encroach too much because all the keyholes were opened and everything. So they got to go and take care of the problem here to put everything right, put the worlds back to where it's supposed to be. This world, the final world, is a huge inspiration for me. This world is like big inspiration for me and my stuff. I love this world the way it's made. So, it travels where darkness encroaches, the end of the world. Big W world, all the world. Personally, one of my favorites, so that's good. So, this place is a cream filling of the dark side coming out more. So, once again, that little space right there, it's the dark side starting to seep out through the cream filling into the light area. Okay? Got that? One cookie side starting to fall into the other. Got it? Cool. Okay. So, they go into the deepest dark, where it's basically the other side of the cookie at this point. Like, we're in that area, basically. And there, they face off against Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, who has a giant evil battleship. It's really terrifying looking. It's like a demon battleship. I remember when I first saw this thing, I was like, holy gee! It's pretty awesome, though. I gotta give him credit. It's got good flair. But working together with the light and the Keyblade and their friendship, they're able to beat back the big bad. And so, Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, is teetering, and he's like, door to darkness, which is basically the back door to Kingdom Hearts, back door to the Dark Realm. Remember the Dark Realm, the other side of the cookie? It's the back door to it. And so he's like, give me darkness of everlasting. And Sora's like, nah, no, brah, it's light. And the door opens and flashes and defeats Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. Because where there's darkness, there's also pure light there too. Because it's the center of Kingdom Hearts, it's like the back door of it. The light of Kingdom Hearts also shines through and penetrates Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and he gets defeated. Unfortunately, though, as with the light came out, the darkness is coming out too. And this is the door leading to the world of dark. Remember the other side of the cookie, the one where there's no going back and forth unless weird situations like this, where the world's starting to fall into the dark world, where the big W world of light is falling into the big W world of dark, and things are going bad. So they need to close this door. Sora, Donald, and Goofy go on that side to try to shut it, but they can't because there has to be locked on both sides. The Keyblade that Sora has, this one, I better keep you with me because I'm going to need you. This one is needed on one side, but a parallel one is needed on another. Remember how Mickey said he was going to go find that key? Well, what's going to happen on the other side? How do they close the door? Tries their best. They can't shut it. Darkness seeps out. Meanwhile, on the other side, backing up just a little bit of time, right before the big battle with Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, the giant demon battleship and everything, we find, yes, best girl, best mom, Aqua, still wandering the dark, still holding on to what little light she has left. 10 years later, 10 years, she's still holding on. But the darkness is starting to get to her. She's lasting 10 years, beautiful as she is, amazing. And she's fighting off against these beings she's never had to fight before for a decade. Even visions of the past begin to haunt her because of darkness. Remember, she's not a being of pure light either. She has a lot of light in her, but she has darkness in her just like every other person. And her darkness is starting to affect her. Visions of her past are hardening on Best Girl. She's starting to feel the guilt of not being able to return home to wake up Ventus. She's feeling the loss of Terra, and it's starting to eat away at her. But she keeps fighting. She keeps holding on. And as much as she does, the darkness encroaches even more in bigger and more dominant ways. Because in the dark world, in this place, it's kind of like anyone who's seen Bleach, Hueco Mundo. Hollows, which are the bad guys in Bleach, are more powerful in their world because it's darkness. It's bad. Same is true for the Heartless. In their world, they are stronger. Even those shadows can do a lot of damage. Trust me, they can. I remember playing it. So she fights as much as she could, but as she was about to lose hope, hope is renewed, and Mickey shows up. He comes into the dark world because he hitched a ride on a dying world who is heading into the dark himself. And he meets up with Aqua, surprised to see her there, and they fight together to make a difference. They banish the darkness. And so, basically, Aqua's like, oh my gosh, someone from the world of light. Oh my gosh, how are things up there? And Mickey's like, not great. The worlds are starting to fall into the darkness. Not good. All the keyholes are being opened up. But there's someone over there who's closing them. And we've got to get the Keyblade over here. Because we need the Keyblade from the realm of light plus the Keyblade from the realm of darkness in order to shut the big dark door. Once we do that, the world will be closed off from the dark world and everything will be okay. I think so. And so Aqua's like, okay, let's go find that key from this side and be able to go close that door. I'm glad I'm not on mic for that Mickey voice. I lost it. Gee, fellas, did someone talk about the door to darkness? Uh-huh. You think that's bad? Wait till you hear him later. He literally said, no, I'm not going to that. King Retro, you sound like Mickey. Oh, thank you, King Retro. I appreciate it. Have you heard about the door to darkness? Did you hear about it? We need the Keyblade to close it from both sides. Huh? Everyone following so far? Pretty convoluted, isn't it? Tetsuya, what the heck are you doing with this? Oh. Gosh dang it. I'm sorry. I'm moving on. All right, so they need both the keys, so they go venture to find it. Dipslet should have sent me the lines. I would have read them for you. I think I did a good job. So they venture forward to find the Keyblade, the other one that's the other color of this one. It's on the other side. So they find it. Ta-da! It turned out to be in Destiny Islands. Because remember, Destiny Islands fell to the Dark World. So on the dark side, that's where it was. Because the other one, this one, was in the light side. So they find it. So then they're like, okay, let's close this door. All right. Unfortunately, darkness ain't no rest for the wicked. Or the pure-hearted at this point. Darkness shows up and, starts to assault again. So, the door's being closed on Sora's side, remember? And Riku, who got transported to the realm of darkness because he got fully engulfed by it, but held on, is on this side. And he's pushing the door from that side. Sora and Riku working together, finally. And he's not being a brooding little baby. So they're pushing together, they're trying to close it, but they need the keys on both sides. And Mickey is being held up because of this big giant thing. So, being the beautiful, amazing, gorgeous, incredible, self-sacrificial, wonderful best girl she is, Aqua holds her Keyblade up, binds the darkness, holds everything, hold the gate, hold, and says, Mickey, go close it. And Mickey's like, but if I go close, you'll be left here. I know. Go close it. Once again, gorgeous, beautiful, selfless, amazing, incredible Master Aqua makes the ultimate sacrifice and holds off the dark, standing in the dark herself, while Mickey goes with the key to shut both sides. I love you, Aqua. So, on both sides, Sora and Mickey raise their Keyblades up. Raise your daughters! And shuts the door. And the door is closed. Darkness is stopped, and the world, Big W, is saved. The dark world is sectioned off from the real one, and from the light one. They're both real, but from the light one, and everyone's saved. Except Aqua. Best mom lost again. We will save you one day, I promise. We will save you. We will get you out of there. One day, I promise, beautiful. I promise. How would you like that? 10 years. Hope I get to leave. Okay, no, I'll just stay. I'll just stay. No, it's fine. Just go ahead. I'll just make the big sacrifice again. It's fine. It's fine. Best character. Best character. And that's with Sora there too. So, the big world, the W is saved, Aqua's lost, and the King and Riku are somewhere out there to be found. They exited through the door somewhere, and they're lost somewhere out in the Oblivion. Oops. So, looks like we've got some work to do. I know how you feel, guys, because the next section is going to be a bit of an annoying one to do. So, with that being said, we have now gone over everything up to this point in the Kingdom Hearts Chronicles. So, just to give one more recap, a little look here. I'll go ahead and save it, sure. Okay. I don't know what change I meant. Real quick, super fast. I'm not even gonna put it on. We have the timeline here. Well, actually, I'm gonna do it like this so you can see my mouse. We had Union Cross, which was the deep lore. The worlds were lost. They broke apart. Lots of time. Xehanort, the big, bold, evil guy, begins his plans. More times pass. Final birth by sleep happens. He possesses Terra, loses his memory. Ventus enters a deep sleep inside Sora with his body inside that weird place. And Aqua is lost to the Dark World for 10 freaking years. During the 10 years, Terra Xehanort does forbidden experiments with the heart, and oops, explosion of darkness. We don't know what happened there. And then we have Kingdom Hearts 1. Sora gains the Keyblade, the door, and loses his heart. Oh, actually. And loses and regains his heart. That is super important self. Definitely put that there. Loses and regains his heart. And the door to darkness is shut, and Ansem's Seeker of Darkness is defeated. Riku and the King are lost somewhere out there, and Aqua falls back into the dark. Again. So, that is where we are at this point. We are up to this level. Oh, I should have put a little icon for Kingdom Hearts 1 instead of just the thing here. Oh, whatever, you see it. And that is the recap for Kingdom Hearts 1. All the way through Kingdom Hearts 1. Anyone have any questions? I know that was a lot. I know that was a lot, but it's important because as we go, it's going to build on itself. So I just want to make sure everyone's got it together. Everyone understand everything? Anyone got anything new? When are you going to play a video game? I know. We're actually going to start that very soon.